How to create double exposure photographs. Double exposure photography is increasingly popular, and it's a fun way to create nostalgic-looking photos. You can create them simply by taking two photos and superimposing them over each other. But to get great results, you usually have to tweak it a bit. In this video, you'll learn how to create your own double exposure photos and get great results with a couple useful tricks. To create a double exposure photo, you'll need two photos. It's best to use something simple like a texture or landscape photo for the background because it helps keep your foreground photo visible. For the foreground photo, a high-contrast silhouette photo like this one works great. We got these photos from Shutterstock.com, but you can easily photograph your own by shooting them with the sun behind your subject. Begin by opening the background photo into Photoshop. Drag and drop your foreground photo into the canvas. Photoshop should automatically have the transform tool activated for you when you drag and drop your photo. Set the blending mode of this layer to screen, then resize and position the image any way you like. Press Enter to apply the changes. Don't worry too much about getting the correct placement because you can readjust this later. As you can see, we already have our double exposure photo. Sometimes it can be this easy, but there are some things that we can improve on in this photo. We'll start by adjusting the contrast of the photos. In the Adjustments panel, add a Curves Adjustment layer. We can use this Curves Adjustment to increase the contrast of our foreground photo. But if you try making any adjustments, you'll see that it's affecting the background layer when we only want it to affect the foreground layer. To make this adjustment layer affect only the one layer below, click the Create Clipping Mask button in the Properties panel. If you are using an older version of Photoshop and do not see this button, you can press Alt-Control-G or Option-Command-G on Macs to create a clipping mask. Now we're ready to make the adjustments. In the Properties panel, select the On-Image Adjustment tool. Click anywhere in your image and drag up to brighten and down to darken. For our image, we're going to drag upwards on the sky to make it brighter, then drag downwards on the subject to darken the area. If this technique isn't creating enough contrast, you can try adjusting the curves directly. Start by clicking in the middle to create a new point and dragging it towards the left until the sky overexposes. Drag the bottom left point to darken the shadows. You can also adjust the brightness and contrast of your background layer by adding another curve adjustment layer above it. Since there aren't any layers below the background layer, you don't need to create a clipping mask for this adjustment layer. Make any adjustments you like the same way you did with the other curves adjustment layer. Now that we're closer to the final results, you can transform and position the image any way you like. If you'd like to move or transform the background layer, right-click on the layer, then choose Convert to Smart Object. This will unlock the layer and allow you to non-destructively transform the layer. Next, we're going to add a low-contrast photo effect with a slight split toning effect. Create a new Curves Adjustment layer and position it as the top layer. To lower the contrast, simply drag top right point down, then the bottom left point up. In the Channel drop-down menu, switch to the Blue channel. Drag the bottom left point up to add some blues to the shadows of your photo, then drag the top right point down and add some yellows to the highlights of your photo. Sometimes the colors can be a little too strong, so if you want to desaturate it, add a Vibrance Adjustment layer from the Adjustments panel. Adjust the vibrance or saturation setting to get the effect that you like. There are many photo effects that work great with double exposure photos. You can turn your photo into black and white by adding a black and white adjustment layer. Or you can apply vintage or film effects with the many Photoshop actions that you can download. Our favorite are these faded film actions by SparkleStock. They let you apply film and retro effects with just one click. Simply play the Render All Effects action, then go into your History panel to pick an effect. There are also several other action sets that work well with double exposure photographs, and you can find the download links to these Photoshop actions in the video description. We're done! Here are some more examples of double exposure photos created with this technique. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to us for more great Photoshop tutorials. Here are some of our other Photoshop videos that you might enjoy.